A very good morning to one and all present today in this science class. Once again, I welcome you back on behalf of Sunbeam Academy. Starting with our today's class, let us try our level best to complete this chapter, that is your germs and diseases, because as per the syllabus, we will be left behind with 2 to 3 more chapters after this. Okay, so I don't have the syllabus right now, so I'll be just sharing the screen with the same chapter, that is your germs and diseases, which we have done in the last class. But at the same time, I'll be mentioning the syllabus with you, that is when we are talking about. So we have basically how many chapters are there? All right. So in term one, that is half yearly, we have 2 to 4 to 6 chapters are there, out of which we have already completed plant reproduction and agriculture. We have also completed types of animals and plants. We have also completed food and health, and now we are on germs and diseases. So up to next month we have to go ahead or complete with 2 more chapters, that is your skeletal system and the nervous system, along with the states of matter as well. Okay, so yesterday was Independence Day and I hope all of you would have celebrated as well. Let us not make this Independence Day to be there only for one day or something like that. Let us keep this enthusiasm, let us keep this spirit throughout our life, throughout the year, and let us keep remembering the sacrifices which have been done by our freedom fighters and other people. Okay, so starting with this, the very first thing. Okay, all right. So let us start with this. In this chapter, we have already discussed few things, that is, what are the usefulness of the microorganisms, how it is helping us in the digestion and all those things, how it is helping us in the formation of curd and all these things. Okay. We have also discussed how these harmful microbes they are going to spread through the contaminated food and water, through the air, and through air only we have done, through contact with the sick person, and your through insect bites such as female anopheles mosquito and your female aedes mosquito responsible for your dengue. Okay, so today we'll be starting with the prevention of communicable diseases, but before going ahead with that, let me first revise a little bit related to this timetable table which is given in your book. Okay, let us go ahead. If you are talking about this table, so basically this table summarizes of all the different types of the microorganisms which we have studied and how they are responsible for causing some or the other diseases. Now it will be much more visible, I hope. Much more better visibility will be there. So starting with this, what you are able to see is that basically when we are talking about the different types of the diseases cause and what are the main symptoms of that. So in the case of common cold and cough, when we are talking about, so that is actually caused by a virus in which our throat becomes sore. We are having cough because due to the deposition of the mucus, and we are also having headache as well. All right, that is headache is basically ache means pain, headache means that is pain in the head, whereas wherever you add this word ache, okay, ache, it means pain only. So stomach ache, headache, leg ache, anything you can call it to be, but basically in this common cough and cold, it is actually your headache, cough and the sore throat. Measles, when we are talking about, so actually it is caused by a virus in which our eyes become red, white spots inside the mouth, fever, muscle ache as well. Okay, I don't remember whether I have shown you with the pictures of this muscle measles or not. Okay, we have a very small difference between your measles and your chicken pox. in the size of the boils, in the size of the spots which are there. In the case of chickenpox, the spots are little bit smaller in size, whereas in the case of measles, the size of the spots, reddish spots, are white spots. They are much more prominent here. Okay, that is also caused by a virus only. Hepatitis, when we are talking about, that is also caused by a virus, where we have the weakness, loss of appetite, nausea, fever, stomach ache. Okay. Whereas when we are talking about the chicken pox, so this chicken pox is also caused by a virus, where rashes, fever, body ache, and uneasiness is there. Talking about the dengue here, that is also caused by a virus, where we have high fever, severe joint and muscle pain, headache, and your tiredness. Okay. These are some of the symptoms of the diseases which are caused by the viruses. Okay, including your dengue, chickenpox, hepatitis, measles, and common cold. You have to remember this table, as questions will be asked from this table. Okay, it is, you can call it to be the entire summary of the different types of the communicable diseases which are being caused by the different types of microbes here. Okay, the next we have here is, that is your malaria, which is caused by a protozoa, in which the symptoms are your fever, chills, headache, sweats, fatigue, and your nausea. Okay, all of us, we are aware of these things, that is your fever, chills, and your headache, sweat. All of us we know. Okay, that is whenever we are suffering from fever and if we take the medicines of the fever, what happens, in order to release the heat, in order to reduce the temperature of our body, a lot of uh, sweat is being given out so that the body temperature can be lowered. Because if this higher temperature, or if this fever reaches up to the brain, then it is going to cause a lot of damage to the body, and it is very difficult to treat as well. So that is why precautions are being taken, that the fever should not reach up to the brain. The next we have, that is your amoebiosis, that is also caused by protozoa only, in which we have the diarrhea with blood, swelling in the intestine. Diarrhea with blood means what? That is whenever we are going into the toilets for removing our undigested waste, that is the frequent watery stools. Along with the stools, a little amount of blood also comes out. Okay, and that is actually your amoebiasis, that is the diarrhea with the blood. Swelling in the intestine, when we are talking about the intestine, so all of us, we are aware that intestine is what? It is one of the organs which is present in our body in a very coiled manner, and due to its coiling nature only, it is able to fit into such a small space in our body, and it is the place where your final digestion takes place. That is, whatever we are eating, that is your carbohydrate, protein, and fats, all the things, they finally get digested into our small intestine, that is very very long, up to 5 times the length of the large intestine, and it is one of the components of our digestive system. Just like we have seen how bacteria is helping in the digestion of the food, so here basically we have, that is this intestine, it receives the digestive juices from different organs like pancreas, liver, and itself it secretes various kinds of juices which help in the digestion of the food which is eaten by us. If we go ahead with the next one, we have, okay, we have the next one, that is your ringworm. When we are talking about the ringworm, actually, so it is caused by a fungus, as the name is there, ringworm. Okay, so basically the rashes appear in the circular manner. We have the red ring-like and your scaly rash on the skin, which is generally a form of itching is there. Okay, in Hindi you call this to be your khujli. Okay, so itching sensations are there, and this itching sensations is just because of the presence of this fungus, which has to be treated by various kinds of ointments or your creams or anything like that. The next we have the tetanus, which is caused by the action of bacteria. Here, in the case of tetanus, which is caused by the bacteria, we have the stiffness of the jaw, neck, and other muscles, severe and frequent muscle cramps, difficulty in swallowing. Okay, so these are the few symptoms, okay, which are there in the case of your tetanus. The next we have the dysentery, that is your bacteria. That is here also the same, just like your diarrhea we have. So little bit similar to the diarrhea, we have the symptoms, that is your loose motions with blood, pus or mucus. Okay. The next we have is that is your tuberculosis. So in the case of tuberculosis, we have the bacteria, coughing fever, chills, night sweats, weight loss, and your fatigue. Fatigue is basically related to your unconsciousness, which is there. Okay. The next we have here is that is your typhoid. That is again caused by the action of bacteria, where we have the fever, tiredness, headache, loss of appetite, as well as the stomach ache. If you remember just now I told you that is okay, headache, okay, ache. Ache basically means the pain. Okay, so wherever you are going to attach it, muscle ache means pain in the muscles. Stomach ache means ache in the stomach. Headache means ache in the pain in the head. Okay. Moving ahead with this, let us start with the prevention of the diseases. Okay. So when we are talking about the prevention of the communicable diseases, we have the very first thing, that is by keeping ourselves clean. When we are keeping ourselves clean, that is actually we are talking about the sanitation practices which is being done in our home. Like before going to bed and rising up from the bed in the morning, it is being advised to brush our teeth twice. Okay, so now what is the reason for that? In the morning when you are waking up from your bed, okay, throughout the night some or the other air, the bacteria or something, they might have been present in our teeth, in between the teeth and various other places in our mouth. So that is why it is being advised to brush our teeth in the morning. Whereas secondly, when we are talking about in the night, so basically after having the dinner, some or the other food particles, they remain stuck up into our teeth, as a result of which they have to get cleaned up. Otherwise bacteria or something, they are going to act upon it, and finally that will be getting converted into acids, which in turn is going to damage our entire teeth, okay, from the root as well. We should have a daily bath to keep our body clean. That is, we should take bath so that whatever the diseases, whatever the dust particles or anything like that which might be present on our body, that may get cleaned up. Okay. The next is wearing the proper clothes, that is the clean clothes every day. That is just after or before, whenever we are talking about. So fresh clothes should be there, washed clothes should be worn by each and everyone, so that the if we are going to wear the clothes again and again, so what will happen? The bacteria or the fungi which might be sitting on them, they may result in various kinds of infections and rashes and everything. Okay, and the person who is not well, that is the person who is suffering from some or the other kinds of diseases, that is the patient if we call it to be. So we should try to remain some distance. We should not try to touch that person, and at the same time we should not try to touch his belongings as well, because he is sick. So there maybe chances are there a lot of germs would be there. So that is why if we are going to touch that person, then we are going to suffer from the same diseases. Okay. So these are the things why it should be taken proper care. The next when we are talking about is, so actually we have the next part, that is the next prevention which should be done, that is washing our hand frequently with soap and water, especially before the meals. This is the practice which we have been doing continuously since last 1.5 years when this COVID has started. As all of us we know that we don't know where this virus would be sitting. So that is why we have to keep on washing our hands from time to time, so that if any kind of virus, bacteria, or anything would be present on our hands, okay, while eating something, they may not go into our body, and as a result of which we can easily remove them. Okay. The next one we are talking about is that is keeping our homes and surroundings clean. Okay, so it is also a part of sanitation only, sanitation practices only. That is basically if our environment is free from any kind of bacteria or fungi, which is actually impossible. Always remember that is whatever the environment is there, our atmosphere is full of microbes. Now it depends on our immune system, and especially inside our houses, what kind of precautions we are taking, what kind of safety measures which we are taking, what kind of uh, things we are keeping it in a proper manner. Okay, so that our house may not contain, it may not become a house of the microbes actually. Okay, so basically in terms of this, in we are talking about our homes and the surroundings. So we have mosquitoes, they breed in the stagnant water. Breed in the stagnant water means what? That is, if anywhere the water is kept in an open area, such as the tires or the containers, plastic bottles, anything which is left open, then what will happen? Water will get filled inside those containers, either due to rain or due to any other methods. And finally, when the water will be getting filled there, then the breeding of the mosquitoes is going to take place. Breeding of the mosquitoes is actually what? Breeding of mosquitoes means what? That is, the entire mosquito will start increasing its number, because the mosquitoes, they lay eggs into their water, stagnant water. Stagnant water means ruka hua pani. Okay, the water which is not moving. Okay, jama hua pani, ruka hua pani. So the mosquitoes, they lay eggs into that, and finally they start increasing their number. So that is why in the coolers also, especially when during the summer seasons, when we are cooling, when we are using the coolers, so you must have seen, you must have observed that people take care of the different types of precautions, like not allowing the water, or keep on changing the water from time to time, putting some kind of oils also into the water bodies. Okay, these are some of the precautions which are being taken. Apart from this, see, the next part is the same which I told you just now. That is, we should not allow the water to get collected anywhere in the open area, especially because whenever the water is getting collected, especially in the open area, that is going to be the part of the mosquitoes, and they will try to increase their number by laying their eggs and various other things. Okay, the next we have, that is, flies breed in the garbage. We should not allow the garbage to collect in our homes or in the neighborhood. Actually, the thing is that here we are talking about something related to our dustbins. Okay, most of us, we use the open dustbins in our homes. That is the actual practice, or the very common practice which is being done in our homes. So whenever the dustbins are open, and if we are using some or the other things, like whenever the dustbins will remain open and we are throwing our waste into that, so since our waste contain a lot of organic matters as well, okay, or some kind of dust materials or anything like that, so chances are there that is they will maybe getting acted upon by the house flies, by the mosquitoes, or anything like that. So if they are going to be acted upon by them, then surely when these flies again come back and sit on our healthy food items or on us, then surely we are going to suffer from some or the other kinds of diseases, just like we have seen how insects are spreading the diseases. Okay, so that is why first and the foremost thing, we should try to reduce the waste materials as much as possible. And not only that, we should also not allow garbage to collect in our homes or in the neighborhood, so that less and less number of flies, mosquitoes, or insects, anything, they can dwell, they can remain in these areas, and at the same time they do not pollute our environment as well by causing different kinds of infectious or communicable diseases. To keep your house free from the flies and the mosquitoes, burn a few dried neem leaves or keep a tablet of camphor on the mosquito repellent evaporator before switching it on. Now, see, actually, these are some of the home remedies which we can use for removing the mosquitoes or something like that. Okay, but actually, it is not working in real sense. Okay, neem leaves, when we are talking about, so as we know that neem contains some or the other chemicals present in it, so chances are there that is very foul smell or very irritating smell comes out, as a result of which whatever the mosquitoes or other things will be present, they will be getting removed from here. Apart from that, when we are using the camphor tablet on the mosquito repellent evaporators, that is the machines mosquitoes or something like that, or all out or mosquito or good night, whatever the refills are being there. Okay, when we used to switch on the machines, a vapor starts coming out. So if you are keeping on top the camphor tablets, then what will happen that again, along with that vapors of the chemicals, this camphor will also get evaporated and it will kill the other different types of the waste materials which are present. Okay. So these are some of the precautions which should be taken in order to keep our surroundings clean and other thing. The next is when we are talking about our washrooms, kitchens, toilets, bathrooms, and other. These are some of the reasons. Okay, where we are cleaning our body, especially, or we are removing our undigested food materials. Okay, so these places should be given much more care, because when the places where we are removing our undigested food and all these things, so we are able to generate a lot of waste materials there. And since we are able to generate a lot of waste materials here, so we should try our level best to use it. We should try our level best to clean it as much as possible, so that the diseases or the bacteria cannot spread various kinds of infections or the diseases to a large number of people. Next, when we are talking about our vitamin D source, that is only energy source on the earth's surface, that is your sun, which is considered to be the prime source of energy. It also acts like a disinfectant. Like after washing our clothes, we used to put it in the sun. So we have two purposes are there. One for getting it dried up, that is removal of the moisture or the water. But another purpose is getting disinfected as well. That is our clothes, they get disinfected when we put it into the sun there. So therefore, our clothes, our mattresses, our linens, all these things, they should be put into the sun from time to time, so that if due to continuous remaining inside the dust but inside the shade and everything, they may be acted upon some or the other kinds of germs. So when we'll be putting it into the sun, they will be getting rid of that. The next we have here is, that is, to keep our homes free from the dampness and bad smell, we should allow fresh air and sunlight to enter into our houses. Now, see, when we are talking about the free of dampness and bad smell, so actually the dampness is sealant. Okay, that is water moisture which comes on our walls, and as a result of which the paints and everything they start coming out. Okay, so that is actually we are talking about. The next is, that is, in the case of this part, in the case of here, fresh air, that is the windows and everything, they should be kept open so that fresh air can enter, and at the same time sunlight should also be able to enter into the rooms, so that we can remove the dampness and at the same time remain free from some or the other kinds of diseases. Okay, moving ahead with this, we have some more things. Let us do that. Okay, when we are talking about the other things, so the toilet cleaners and the disinfectants, they contain harmful substances called acids. So they should not come in contact with the skin directly. Remember one more thing I would like to tell you, that Harpic is most commonly being used in our homes. Okay, so remember this Harpic also is not very much safe enough. Okay, that is also very much dangerous. So try to avoid coming in contact of your skin with this Harpic. Okay, it can also lead to a lot of disturbances. It can also lead to a lot of your skin damage. So that is why please take utmost care and precautions with your this part, that is with your Harpics and everything. Okay, the next we have here is, that is by using clean water and food. When we are using clean water and food, so actually it is, all of us we know, that is whenever we are purchasing anything, that is especially in the case of patients, you would have seen that is doctors always advised boiled water. Okay, so whenever we are boiling the water, actually we are killing any kind of germs which might be present in that. Okay, so dirty water, whenever we are going to kill it, so what will happen, the germs and everything, they will be getting killed, and our water will be free from any kinds of disease or something like that. And as a result of which, we will be able to get in touch, we will be able to go ahead with fresh water, and at the same time we'll be able to heal up quickly as well. The next we have here is, that is you wash the fruits and the vegetables thoroughly before eating or cooking them. As all of us we know, that is the vegetables and the fruits which we are purchasing from the markets, they are being touched by different kinds of people. We don't know from where it is coming, so it might be, that is a lot of microorganisms would have touched it. Okay, a lot of actions would have been taken against it, as a result of which, before utilizing it for our home, or before using it in our homes, we should first try our level best to wash it with warm water, so that whatever bacteria, dust particles, germs, or anything like that which might be present on top of it, which might be present on the surface of that, they may get rid of that. Okay, moving ahead with this, we have the next part, that is we have, when we are talking about the fresh milk. Okay, so the milk which you are purchasing it from the markets, that is your Amul and Mother Dairy and various other, is there Parag and everything. So actually these are the pasteurized milk. Pasteurized milk means what, that is in order to protect the milk so that it can last for a longer period of time, the milk is heated at very high temperature, and then suddenly it is cooled enough. Okay, so when you are heating the milk at a very high temperature, what happens? That is, it, whatever the bacteria or fungi is there, they get killed off, and at the same time, when we are cooling it suddenly, so here also the things get changed. Things get changed means what? That is, whatever the bacteria or something is, that due to very low temperature, they will not be able to grow properly. So as a result of which, these the fresh milk will be able to last for a longer period of time without getting damaged. And this process is known as pasteurization. It was discovered by Louis Pasteur. Okay, you'll be studying about them in detail in class 8th. You have the chapter microorganisms, friend and foe. So there you'll be studying. So here pasteurization is basically the technique by which we are heating the milk at very high temperature and then suddenly cooling it, so that whatever the dust or sorry, basically the germs and everything may not grow again. Okay, next we have, by getting vaccinated. All of us we know that is nowadays also this vaccination drive is occurring at its full fledged. Why? Because all of us we know that is we have to protect our body from this COVID-19 virus. Okay, so we all are going ahead with either co-vaccines or Covishield or anything other vaccines which are available into the markets. So these vaccines, what they are going to do is that they are going to protect us from the different viruses or the diseases from time to time, and also they will help for our body to fight with all these diseases. Okay, so the vaccine is usually prepared by killing the germs that cause the disease, A vaccine is either injected or given orally. Okay. Now see. So when we are talking about the vaccine, so either it will be injected with the help of the injections, or it will be given orally, like the case of the polio vaccine. Okay, the polio drops which you are uh, drinking it, actually that is also a type of vaccine only. Okay, that is the oral form of the vaccines. It is given to the persons or the animals or to anyone to protect against a particular disease. Okay, these vaccines they are available for fighting with a number of diseases, like we have the diphtheria is there, influenza is there, typhoid is there, tetanus is there, polio, hepatitis, mumps, and your measles. Okay, so all these are, that is, till today, earlier there were not, we were not having so many vaccines present with us, but today we have a lot number of vaccines with us which are needed to protect us from these diseases, like these, uh, just now we have discussed diphtheria, influenza, typhoid, tetanus, polio, hepatitis, mumps, and your measles. Okay, when we are talking about the other diseases, so actually it is, that is sometimes what happens is that cough and cold, diphtheria, tetanus, and all these things, these are the diseases which we get during our lifetime. Okay, that is when we have taken the birth on the surface of the earth, and we have started doing some or the other activities by ourselves. So this is this time, that is all these diseases we are acquiring it from time to time due to not eating properly or coming in contact with the germs or anything like that. But actually, there are some kinds of diseases which are present from the birth only. That is, when you are present inside your mother's womb, okay, from there only the diseases are present in your body, and they are actually the diseases which are known as the birth defect or the congenital diseases. Congenital diseases, remember, that is the diseases which a child carries from the birth only, that is from the mother's womb only. It may be caused due to baby to a baby in its mother's womb. Okay, if the mother takes water or food contaminated with harmful chemicals, it may cause different diseases to the baby. Congenital diseases may also be caused due to unhealthy lifestyle of the parents, that is your improper diet, smoking, drinking alcohol, etc. So that is when the mothers or when the females they used to become pregnant for 9 months, in which the development of the baby takes place. So there chances are there, that is people, if they are not taking proper diet, if they are not taking proper precautions, and at the same time if they are going for various kinds of alcohols, smokings, and all those things, then chances are there that the disturbances might occur in the baby as well, whether it is a male one or a female one. Okay. Next one is your allergy. Let us see how much time is left. Okay, we have a little bit of time, so we can go ahead with that. Allergy. Okay. Okay. So, all right. Let us complete this allergy today. This part we'll be doing in the next class, and we'll be completing the chapter as well on Friday. And at the same time, I'll be providing you with the question answers as well. So when we are talking about this allergy, so actually it is the condition that makes some people sick because they have eaten, touched, or inhaled something. Actually, this allergy is very, very dangerous. Okay, we call this allergy to be very simple, but actually it is not. It is very dangerous. Why it is very dangerous? Because in the case of allergy, okay, the people are not able to know. First and the foremost thing, that is, we don't know with which thing we are having this allergy. That is why we are having this allergy. Okay, so first is this part. Second is, that is, in the case of allergy, so how to know this part, that is why we are having this, because we don't know. If the people are knowing, well and good. If not, then we it is very difficult to find it out, first and the foremost thing. Okay, so this condition makes some people sick because they have eaten, touched, or inhaled something. Sometimes the cleaning an old cupboard of books or clothes may result in allergic conditions such as heavy sneezing, that is, sneezing for a quite long period of time. watering of the eyes, itching or the rashes with irritation. So things such as dust, pollen grains, smoke from the firecrackers or certain perfumes may cause allergies in different people. Okay, so dust, all of us we know, that is, since the dust contains a lot of pollutants present in it, so sometimes what may happen is that this dust may cause some or the other kinds of allergies. It can be your irritation, it can be your itching sensation, or anything like that. Okay, moving ahead with that, the next part which is there is, that is, when we are talking about the pollen grains. Okay, so this you are going to study in class 7th, that is pollen grains. When we are talking about, so this is a part of a flower. Okay, just like we have male and female people are there, girls and boys are there, in the same way the flowers also contain male and female part. Okay, so the male part of the flower is your pollen grains. Okay, so these pollen grains, they help in the development of new plants. But sometimes what happens, these pollen grains, they are in our environment only, and if the pollen grains are consumed or if they are inhaled by our body, then in that case we will start suffering from some or the other kinds of allergies. Okay, the smoke from the firecrackers, as all of us we know, during the Diwali times or something, the pollution level rises. Why? The pollution level rises just because harmful pollutants are being added to our atmosphere, and when they are getting inhaled or they are coming in contact with our skin, they cause various kinds of skin allergies, or if they are inhaled, so they cause various kinds of respiratory disorders or anything like that. Okay, the next is, that is, perfumes. When we are talking about, okay, so when we are talking about the perfumes, so actually the thing is that it is not, allergies is not common for everyone, first and the foremost thing. It is in the case of perfumes when we are talking about, so everyone does not have it, but some people have allergies from the perfumes. That is, they are not able to withstand the smell of the perfumes, and they start sneezing continuously. Okay, so this was there for today. Next, we'll be going ahead in the next class. All right. In the next class, we will be completing ahead with that. Some more symptoms are there of the different kinds of diseases like dengue, malaria, and all these things. And finally, we will be completing the chapter, and also I'll be providing you with the question answers and everything. Okay. So this was all for today. Thank you everyone, and have a superb day ahead. Thank you.